Hey everyone, this is Ravenous Blog and Animation Bliss, and welcome to another Spotlight Cartoon Corner. So today's Spotlight cartoon we'll be talking about today is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. So before I get into what I like to hate about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, I like to talk about what this movie is all about first. So the movie basically starts off with the mystery gang being separated. Like Fred and Daphne went off to do be on talk shows. Scooby and Shaggy went off to be security officers in an airport, and Velma went off to be to work in a bookstore. So Fred and Daphne decide to bring the gang back together because they want to go on another mystery. They wanted to go on another mystery, or in this case, Daphne wants to find actual real monsters. So the gang goes on this journey to find real monsters, and they end up meeting up with Lena, Joust, and Simone, who work on a plantation. And it was there they found out about the ghost of Morgan Moonscar, and they wanted to research more about the ghost pirate. And while Scooby and the gang were there, they then discovered that there were real zombies on the plantation, and they realized that there's somebody on the plantations that's out to kill the mystery gang, but they don't know if it's the zombies or maybe it's a more evil presence on the farm, on the plantation, that they don't know about. So that's what the gist of this movie is all about. It's basically about the mystery Inc. gang going back on solving mysteries again, and this time they want to solve the mystery of Morgan Moonscar. They find these zombies that are haunting the plantation, but then around the end of the movie, there's a big twist that involves the monsters, and you have to watch this movie to see where this goes. So let me get a drink of water first. Excuse me. So, what are my thoughts about this movie? Well, this is honestly like my most favorite interpretation of Scooby-Doo ever. Like, I love this movie because it's like the darker, edgier version of Scooby-Doo. And for a long time, the Scooby-Doo franchise mainly had bad guys who were like, just threatening the gang, yeah, but the monsters were never real. They were usually bad guys who were just disguised as monsters to scare off the Mystery Inc. gang, and they were just there to really like steal money or just basically rob a bank or something like that. But they do it by scaring off the people by wearing all these monster costumes. So this movie comes out and starts saying, well, the monsters are real this time. This time the Mystery Inc. gang are going to go up against some monsters that are for real. And while we already know in this movie that the monsters are real, I love the twist that happens in the end about who the real monsters are, or who the real bad guys are. That was a big twist in the movie. I won't tell you who's the real bad guy in this movie because I don't want to spoil things. But I love how they handled the twist towards the end of the movie about who's the real bad guy and who's the real monster in this film. And it was just done so well. And I also like the fact that this movie still let the characters remain faithful to the original source material. Like Scooby and Shaggy and Velma still act the same way. Like Scooby and Shaggy are still like the comedic relief of the movie. Excuse me. Velma is still like the smart person in the group. And Fred and Daphne are still like sort of the leaders of the group in a way. But I like how they kind of develop Daphne's character a little more. Like, they make Daphne be the one who's like, let's go out and find real monsters this time. Because, I do want to do this for my talk show. But at the same time, I want to go out on another adventure and find real monsters this time. And I like how her and Fred's relationship develops in this movie. Like, in the earlier Scooby-Doo cartoons, their relationship was just slightly hinted at. But in this movie, it's like we actually see them get jealous when one thinks the other is dating the other, or something like dating another person or something like that. But I really like how Fred and Daphne's relationship has developed in this movie. And I also like the fact that this movie's like a bit of a deconstruction on the original Scooby-Doo franchise. Like instead of seeing the usual bad guys are dressed up as monsters in the costumes, we actually see that the monsters are for real, and we actually see them actually try to kill the gang in this movie. Like before, excuse me. like before the bad guys are like, you know, we're just going to scare the gang so we can scare them away from the money that we're trying to steal. But in this movie, it's like the bad guys or the monsters are actually go out to kill the gang, and that's like a big difference from the previous Scooby Doo franchises. How evil are the monsters going to be? What threat are they to the gang? So there's just a lot of deconstruction with this movie regarding about what they did in the previous Scooby-Doo movies, but they were still able to make the darker, edgier aspect of the movie plays through so well. One of the most interesting things about this movie was that it was supposed to be a script for SWAT Cats, but eventually they turned it into this movie, and I think that was the best decision they ever made. Even though SWAT Cats has always been a well-written show, it was interesting to me that they used a plot they were going to use for SWAT Cats and put it into this movie, and that's how I turned to Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, the movie that really revived Scooby Doo's the Scooby-Doo franchise in the 90s, because I think the last Scooby-Doo cartoon they made before Scooby-Doo kind of went into obscurity in the 90s was a pup named Scooby-Doo in 1989, and then they did star in Arabian Nights around 1994, but yeah, the last full-on Scooby-Doo cartoon was a pup named Scooby-Doo, and when Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island came out in 1998, it's like it changed the scope of the Scooby-Doo franchise like forever. And so now we get to see more of Scooby and the gang and a lot of future iterations of the franchise. And I really like the fact that Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was able to bring back Scooby-Doo in all his glory. I don't really have much to negative things to say about this movie. I actually like this movie a lot overall. I don't think there was a lot of mistakes in this movie, so I think this movie is really good. I think this movie's perfect the way it is. So would I recommend this movie? Yes, I highly recommend this movie, especially if you're a huge fan of the darker, edgier Scooby-Doo. And if you want to watch a Scooby-Doo series where the monsters are for real, then this is the best series to watch it. It really restarted the Scooby-Doo franchise, and I have to really thank Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island for doing just that for the Scooby-Doo franchise. So that's my review on Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and be sure to follow us on Twitter so we can keep you updated any new videos we post up, and also like our Facebook page. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit's blog at Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.